Hello, everybody, and welcome to Scholars in the Spotlight, the show where you get to hear first-hand insights, tips, and tricks from students that won this year's WWDC Scholarship. Joining us today, we have a 21 years old computer science student from France, two times winner of the WWDC Scholarship, mechanical watch lover, developer of WatchMaker 2, and of course, winner of the 2020 Swift Turing Challenge. Please welcome Sylvain Guillier. Okay, Sylvain, good morning, and thank you for being here with me today.
Hey, Valentino, thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure, as always. So, why don't we start with your submission? Like this year is called WatchMaker 2. Why don't you give us an introduction to the project, how it works, and how it all started?
Okay. So WatchMaker 2, it's a playground running on the Mac. The aim of the experience is to create your personal clock. It's not a mind-blowing project compared to other one, but I wanted to provide a fun experience. So all started last year when I released the WatchMaker 1 for the previous WWDC Scholarship. And I wanted this year to go further deeper for the customization of the clock. So, and yeah, that's it for the main presentation of the project.
That's great. Yeah, so you had WatchMaker 1, I guess, last year, and you bring this year WatchMaker 2 with some pretty big updates.
Yeah. Like the first version was only with pictures file. The source code is available. The source code is available on GitHub, and this year I wanted to provide more vectorial stuff with a Bezier space. And also I wanted to provide like customization for colors and other stuff. So that's the main point of the app that I wanted to improve. It was a customization of the clock and to allow you to bring your very own personal clock with your own shape and not only a bunch of pictures that you overlapped.
Yeah, that's great. In WatchMaker 2, you have so many customization options. Like you can change a lot of things, and it's really awesome. Like to start making your own watch, and like you get lost in all the little details. And what, like you mentioned, Bezier paths. Like what technologies did you use to make this project a reality? Is it done using SwiftUI or UIKit or nothing like that?
Well, for the first version of WatchMaker, I used a sprite kit and UI kit because SwiftUI wasn't available. And this year for WatchMaker 2, I use SwiftUI and sprite kit. That's it. Yeah. Also, I wanted to add some new features like dark mode. And that's it. It was a part of the code was the same from the last year project, like for example for the hands rotation, tiny stuff like that, but I had to rewrite almost everything else with the SwiftUI. All the view. Yeah, it's also the big pro of SwiftUI is that all your eyes are updated automatically. So it's cool. It's a huge plus when you have to do some project in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So you can really focus on your code and your logic, and then at the end, just maybe add some tiny animations or change a little bit the UI, but you don't have to break everything or to do some crazy stuff in order to have the results that you wanted to.
Yeah, that's right. Like there is a lot of hard work that SwiftUI is doing for us. Like you mentioned dark mode and all of these little things that they come like automatic for using SwiftUI, right? Yeah, were there any like big challenges doing this new and improved version of WatchMaker?
I can't remember big challenges or stuff that block me for days because I'm working on an app which allows me to do the same thing. So I was able to bring some code from this app into the project and do some modifications in order to run on a playground on macOS. But yeah, that's it. No big difficulties for this project this year.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like bring a project that you are already working on through the scholarship is something that we have seen some previous students do, and I think that's a really valid strategy. Like to take something that you have already done or something that you like are good at and use that in the scholarship is a good resource.
I mean, there were a challenge, but the challenge wasn't very about code, but plus how to put everything I wanted into this project in a week. I mean, compared to last week, I wasn't expected scholarship contest anymore this year due to coronavirus. So when they announced the Swift Student Challenge, I had to quickly find an idea and doing this week manage school from home, personal stuffs, and the project development. So at the end, the experience is not perfect, and I wanted to add more content in order to provide more assets in order to build your custom clock. But I'm quite proud of the result. I mean, you can do a large amount of clock in a short time, in 3 minutes. So
yeah, like the scholarship took us for a surprise this year. Like we didn't know what was going to happen, and like it got delayed for like 2 months, I think 2 or 3. Like it usually is, like every year it's around March.
Yes.
And this year was around May. So
yeah, last year it was, I think so, March, and you had to wait until maybe mid-April and then do all the process in order to attend the WWDC, the convention. But yeah, this year it was pretty fast. It was only a month, I think, the wait before the results.
Yeah.
So everything went really, really fast this year about the scholarship.
Yeah, and I mean, like that was one of the benefits of, like, if we can say there was benefits of not having the students fly to the WWDC, so they could announce the results 1 week before WWDC without any major problems. And I guess, that you mentioned, like last year they gave the results in April because they had to, like, you have to do all the preparations to fly to California. Like, and what can you tell us about that experience, like traveling to California and all of that, like attending WWDC?
Oh, well, personally, it was a dream. I never thought myself capable of winning this type of contest, this type of contest, and going to a WWDC event. So
it was a very good experience and a little bit unexpected then.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't able to realize at the beginning that I won a scholarship and that I will be able to attend WWDC last year. And I think I only realized that I won the scholarship when I arrived at San Jose, and when I was in front of the convention center, and I saw that big screen with head animation, and I think that's what at this moment that I realized that I won the scholarship and I will be able to attend the conference all week, and especially the keynote on Monday.
Oh yeah, that must have been amazing, like arriving there along the other students, and it was a good experience, I imagine.
Yeah, also that's a huge plus of attending WWDC, that you can meet people from all around the world, and especially students. So it's awesome to be able to speak with someone with your same age about your same passion. That's a huge plus of real physical WWDC event.
Yeah, the interaction with the community and all of the other students, a lot of people that have a lot in common, and they are very similar. So it must be great to be there and talking with all the different students.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great, and I think that like it's a great experience traveling to WWDC, and I think that everyone should try to apply to the scholarship. Talking about that, what are some tips that you may have for someone who wants to apply for the scholarship?
Yeah. Well, I think my tips will be really simple. It may even be just one word: is patient. As Christian said in the first episode of this podcast, develop something that you care about. For example, if you're passionate about music, do something related to music, or sports, game, arts, or whatever. Even if you're not an expert in software development, neither am I. The point is, for me, the experience itself is more valuable rather than the code. But try to do your best for every aspect of this submission, but really do something that you like. I mean, if you wanted to show something personal, something that you love, you will gain some points.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome. Like if you do your submission around a topic that you're passionate about and that you like, that passion can get through to the judges and to all the people like experiencing your playground.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, for example, like your 2 projects that you submitted are around watches, and I've seen that you have like some other projects around watches. Like, is this a big passion of yours?
Yeah, exactly. Mechanical watches, especially, it's a passion that I started to have maybe 6 or 7 years ago, something like that. At the beginning, last year, for my first attempt, I didn't know what to do. I mean, I didn't know what type of experience to provide, to bring on the Mac for this scholarship. And then maybe one day or two after the opening of the contest, I was like, just do something, just show something that you love. And I was like, okay, so let's go for mechanical watches.
That's awesome, man. Like seeing you transmit this passion of yours through code and through these submissions, like it's really cool. Like seeing people share this part of their personal lives in this way. Like I think that code is a really great tool to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. I want to touch now on some other projects you have going. Like you have released recently an app to the App Store. Well, why don't you tell us about that?
Well, the most recent project is called Clockology. It's a project that I've part of as a mastermind behind this project is Mike Hill. Shout out to Mike if he's listening to this podcast. It's a person that I talked with a few times before WWDC last year, and thanks to WW, I was able to meet him for the first time in real life. So it was really a huge experience to be able to, as I said before, to meet people from all around the world, and sometimes people that you knew from the internet but not in real. So yeah, it's Clockology. These apps allow you to create and view an interactive dashboard on your device, like on iPhone or on iPad. It's these apps. It's also a bit about complications, mechanical watches. It's related to this domain, but also it can provide more modern things, for example, like weather, your health data for activities data. And yeah, that's it.
Oh, that's great, man. Yeah, it's a very cool app. Like I'm seeing here, like the screenshot and it's like supporting all platforms. I guess that you may be very excited for widgets in iOS 14.
So yeah, widgets are very incredible. I think we'll be able to see huge apps, including widgets, since maybe day one. I think so, and also app clips. I think app clips will be able to provide a lot of new feature or use case for some app. It's great going that way, adding new features, adding new possibilities for apps.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. Like we have seen this year with widgets and app clips, it's not only an upgrade for the current like frameworks that Apple gives us. Like when we saw Swift UI, it was like a way better and way newer way of doing what UIKit have already done. I mean, but with widgets and app clips, you are bringing like a new dimension to app development. Like these are completely new experiences that we couldn't make before, and we will be able to do in iOS 14, and they are pretty exciting.
Yeah, I agree. Also, Apple Silicon's like one of the things that I love the most from this year at WWDC. Apple Silicon's maybe something really huge, but we will be able to talk about the result, I mean, of this transition in few years.
Yeah. The process that Apple Silicon is starting, it will be a long process, but a very exciting one. I think that in the future we will have like Apple Silicon will be a great innovation to Macs, and we will be seeing a lot of Apple Silicon. It's great to be part of, I don't know, history in this way.
Yeah. I missed the transition between PowerPC and Intel. When I was a teenager, I was able to grab few PowerPC Mac for about nothing, and still today I like to use them from time to time just to boot the old system and see how things were back in time. So
that's awesome.
yeah, so I mean, I'm quite proud to be able to see this transition in real time. And
yeah, that's great. And you will have like the three types. I mean, you will have some PowerPC, some Intel, and like in the future some Apple Silicon.
I hope so.
Yeah, that will be great. Yeah, Apple Silicon is really like painting the future of Macs for the next 10 years at least. And it will be pretty exciting to see how everything evolves and how other people like react, like other manufacturers, like if they start moving themselves.
Exactly. Maybe we will see in the future some PC brands switching to ARM architecture. Maybe.
Yeah.
And also,
maybe.
But I think the transition will be quite good because I mean, we already saw how iPad growth power and how iPad is a powerful product. So I don't have any doubt about the possibility of a Mac on ARM.
Yeah, that's right. Like we have seen every year how iPad processors evolve and how they are very powerful, and like seeing the Mac running on an A12C processor during WWDC was very good. Like you could see it had a lot of power. Like it really had more power than my current MacBook Air. So when they start making Apple Silicon with more cores and like focus on Mac development, not only iPad, I think that they will be a pretty big power beast, those processors.
Yeah, agree.
Okay, that's great, man. I think that's all for today. Thank you very much for being here.
Well, once again, thank you. Well, subscribe to the channel and also attempt to win the scholarship next year.
Okay, that's it for today. I hope you have enjoyed it and that you learned something. Don't forget to follow the links in the description to check out WatchMaker 2 and all the other projects. Listen to Sylvain and give us a follow on your podcast player of choice so you get notified when we release a new episode, and share the show if you liked it. I'm your host Valentino Cerruti. You can find me on Twitter as @microrax. This has been Scholars in the Spotlight, and I'll see you in the next episode.